Sir,
I
sir.
think, maybe some of them are on YouTube also possibly. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's.
Good afternoon to everybody. Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir and Dr. Rishi Dishwar ji from ICFI Business School, Hyderabad. And today is our fourth corporate lecture series as far our interaction with these people from the different industry and corporates are concerned. So before I start, I'll request Honorable Vice Chancellor to introduce and address to all of us. Please, sir.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and particularly Dr. Rishi Deveshwar. Am I right? Is that how it is
Yes, sir. Yes,
pronounced?
sir. That is right, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So the way your name is written, I think it gives rise to a few people not pronouncing correctly. And Dr. Rishi Deveshwar, in fact, he is considered to be one of the best people, in IBS, professors in IBS, in the area of the digital marketing. And it so happened that I met him in one of our recent meetings, in our ICFI head office. That was a meeting, with regard to introducing the digital marketing, into the ICFI, in one of the units of ICFI. So that is when I was deeply impressed with Dr. Rishi Deveshwar, not only with his conceptual knowledge with regard to the digital marketing, but more importantly, with regard to his practice. Because very rarely I come across people that have got very good conceptual knowledge and technical knowledge, domain depth in the digital marketing, but also have practiced it. So, and he was with Hero Honda, and he was also with some other companies, both India and abroad. And he also has been doing, quite a lot of consulting also in the digital marketing. So, keeping this in mind, I requested him if he could address our students and faculty members, and he readily agreed. I am so happy, and thank you so much, Dr. Rishi Deveshwar. And we had given you very short time. So, in fact, his response was, so lightning that within half a day he just said, yes, I don't have any other engagements, I can address. So that was something really great on his part. And so with these few words, and today I need not tell you, particularly the younger generation with regards to the digital and digital marketing. Today, maybe something like about a year back, we would have thought that digital is getting into marketing. But now it's the other way around. Marketing is getting into digital. And so now, it's digital marketing everywhere. So it's imperative on the part of every one of us. We need to understand not only with regard to the digital marketing from the marketer's perspective, but also from the customer or the consumer perspective. And both of them put together, how you can navigate and how you can, go through the digital journey. And with the result, on how, you are able to culminate or convert that into some kind of, whether it is a marketing outcome. Of course, I don't point of, I won't at this point of time say that, it should be just sale. Whatever outcomes that are expected out of the kind of initiative, once they reach, that is where it is into that. So with these few words, over to Dr. Rishi Deveshwar. Incidentally, like all of you must have heard of, YC Deveshwar. How many of you have heard of?
Yes, sir. ITC.
ITC chairman.
Yeah, ITC chairman for quite a long time, and he, he took ITC into different directions altogether.
Yes.
Not only diversifications, but also in terms of putting a firm ground on all of that. And Dr. Rishi Deveshwar comes from, I don't know whether you call same family or same clan of, Dr. YC Deveshwar. So now all of us have heard of YC Deveshwar and his marketing prowess. And in the next few minutes, you will see the digital marketing prowess of, Dr. Rishi Deveshwar. So over to Dr. Rishi Deveshwar.
Thank you for such a nice introduction, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. And I hope I'll not bore you. It will be a very interactive session. I'm assuming that most of the audience here is students who are MBA students, and some of you might be teaching fraternity. So keeping that as my target audience in mind, majorly, though the task is huge because a lot of topics are expected to be covered, but I'll just try to do justice. Whatever we do, we'll just try to go in detail. Uh, Before I quickly go ahead with things, very quick introduction about myself, because when I am listening to someone, I just want to understand from where this particular knowledge is coming. So I'll just quickly share that. So I did my PhD from IBS Hyderabad itself in 2009. Before that, I have done my MBA from IBS itself. So I was a student, worked in corporate for some time, and because of the recession at that time, maybe my parents said that it is a good time to go for further education. So I did my PhD. Before that, even my PhD, I was working in advertising. And in my PhD also, after one and a half year, after we have qualifying, I started to teach at a very young age, subjects like digital marketing, integrated marketing, communications. So PhD again was academically tedious. A lot of time was spent in a closed room in a campus which is away from city. So after that 4.5, 5 year period, I thought it's time to take a break. Interestingly, I got a very interesting break from another academician who was owner of a big consulting company which had offices in US and in Kuala Lumpur. So I was hired for around, and I worked with him for around 2 years in Kuala Lumpur in a capacity of research consultant. We were a CRM and a digital marketing company. The gentleman is Atul Parwatiar himself. So there again, I learned a lot, though I was doing some consulting assignments prior along with my PhD. But there again, I worked as a full-time consultant in digital marketing space, and the experience was a lot better because overall the country was advanced at least 2 to 3 years ahead of India in terms of digital initiatives. Then I came back to academia because again, corporate life is tedious, lot of time, you have to give a lot of time. And we moved back to Hyderabad where I was already there, back to my alma mater, that is IBS Hyderabad. So I still continue to do a lot of consulting. And again, digital marketing changes every month. Okay. So we keep on updating knowledge uh, every month on month basis. I've been teaching this particular subject for 5-6 years at least, and now we have also introduced at IBS Hyderabad a new subject, which is marketing and technology, because now things are moving ahead of digital marketing. Also, there are specific niche which have been created, so things are more complicated as compared to this. If anyone has any question during the presentation, please you can just unmute yourself because the audience size is not that very huge, and you can ask me. I will be happy to do that. Sometimes we will see if we can play some videos. If technology helps us and the audio is clear, then we'll do that. Otherwise, I will explain those things as well to you. So overall, the idea of this particular session is just we'll just understand some of the key things which are there in digital marketing. We all understand them in a overall manner. So I'll just take you through some specific knowledge which is maybe slightly difficult to absorb. So that comes from PPC or pay-per-click campaigns and all that. We also see from a student perspective, what are the different job profiles which are there and how do you go ahead and build this competency. Okay, so if you say that, okay, I want to get a career in digital marketing, what are the different things and how you might want to go ahead with that. So that is what the overall agenda is. Okay. A lot of normally my teaching style is that students speak a lot more, but here because we have a time constraint, the slides are designed in the same manner that students can participate parallelly, but here I will try to tell you whatever is there. Okay. So the first thing that we see is the digital marketing landscape. So normally in this slide, I ask students that how create a story out of these 5 entities which are being shown here, just to save time. I hope my audio is loud and clear because I cannot see the participants.
Yes,
if there is any
yes,
glitch,
sir.
just let me know. Yeah. All
Sounds
right.
very, very good.
Yeah. So normally we ask students that all these 5 entities, whatever you see, that is potential customers, publishers, facilitators, advertisers, and the digital marketing agencies, they're all connected with each other. So I asked them that if you have to create a story out of these 5 people which are connected, or 5 different entities, not people, 5 different entities which are connected with each other, how they are connected, which one of them comes first and all. So most of the time students get it wrong, but I'll just quickly tell you that the first thing which has come is a publisher. Okay. Definitely customers are always there, or consumers of information are always there. But a lot of time publishers, new kind of publishers come. So when we talk about publishing in a digital front, it is not only a website or a newspaper which is a publisher. So when I talk about publisher, most of you think that a publisher is a newspaper. I get a magazine or a newspaper, that is a publisher. But in digital space, all these websites are also publishers. And there are some people who are just willing to join. Please let them in, because I think I'm also an admin. That thing is coming on my screen
Yes,
as well.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We are good.
So now in digital context, anyone who creates content, okay, and sell that content is also a publisher. So when we talk about Facebook, Facebook is a, though it is a social networking website, but it is also a publisher. So if we talk about a business model of Facebook, it is of a publisher. We talk about YouTube, YouTube is a platform, but again, it is also a publisher because it earns money through content shared by other people on that particular platform. We talk about Spotify, which is a music playing app. Again, it is a publisher. We talk about any online magazine, that is also publisher. Blogger, again, is a publisher. And definitely we have got all the online news websites, okay, or maybe timesofindia.com. All these things are also publishers. So these publishers come first. For example, as most of you would be knowing, that Facebook was created in a dorm room when they had no idea that it will convert into a big business, that what it is today. So Mark Zuckerberg just thought to create a particular place where college students can share their profile. And that is how this idea came. He never thought he will earn money out of it, but ultimately they chose to put ads on that particular thing. So Facebook could have earned money through advertising, or it could have made it a service where we pay. For example, the way Netflix is, so we pay a monthly subscription. So Facebook could have been done something similar, that rather than showing us ads, it could have started showing us information. It could have started selling a monthly or a yearly subscription. Okay, a lot of companies now are following both the things. For example, YouTube, we have got free as well, and we've got YouTube Premium where there are no ads. So when publishers have a lot of content, we consumers get attracted towards it. You talk about anything like Snapchat or Instagram, because there's a lot of content, a lot of people start spending time, okay? And that is a time when a publisher can go to advertiser that here is an opportunity for you to show your advertisement or information or content on my platform and pay a small fees or money, or that is what we call as pay per click. Okay, so pay for that click on that particular advertisement. Okay, so this is very similar to what we used to have earlier, that is a hoarding, or in a newspaper you sell ad space. So there is an hoarding outside your on a road, and that particular space is sold to a company. You pay to the government some part because that place a lot of time belongs to government space, and then the company also shares the revenue, whosoever has just taken ownership of that particular space from the government. So in a similar way, things happen in a digital front as well. These advertisers put up ads with these publishers. The only thing is that things become, because technology is there, it is not as simple as putting up an ad on a outdoor hoarding or even in a newspaper. So for example, I normally give an ad example to my student that, say for example, tomorrow you have to give your matrimony ad in a newspaper. Okay, it's simply the way a company would give an ad. So you just can call a number, check out what is the price. The price might be based on per word, or the price might be based on the space, okay, which you are buying in terms of inches or centimeters, and depending on what is the circulation of the newspaper, you will pay the price. Okay, so it is comparatively simple in a traditional format. When you buy ad space, it would become slightly more complicated in television, where you buy TRPs, television rating points. Most of you would have heard this. But in digital, because a lot of different things are interacting in real time, things become slightly more complicated. Okay, so in this story, ultimately what I say is that definitely first publishers come and they have a connect with the potential customers. So this is the first link. After publishers decide that they want to monetize using advertising, they reach the advertisers. Now for advertisers, for any company who wants to advertise, they cannot reach these publishers without these facilitators. Okay, so we have got a lot of companies which make all this possible. This can be a company like Google Ads, it can be a company like Adobe Marketing, it can be a company like LinkedIn, it can be a company like Facebook, advertising platform where you go and actually put up these ads. There are a lot of analytics also which is involved. So these are all the facilitators of which we need to have knowledge. Okay, in particular, these things are very specific. So as a student, you need to know about these facilitators in and out to actually work in a digital ecosystem. Okay, so you can now company can go it in two ways. Okay, that is what it goes directly. It has an in-house team. Okay, within the company there is a team where students like you will be working, and you use these facilitators and put an advertisement. Okay, a lot of companies might not want to invest a lot of money, they hire an agency. So in that case, again, these particular agencies will use these facilitators, there are a lot of them, and ultimately they will show the ads on the publishers. It can be ads, it is not always necessary that these will be only advertisement, it can be a lot of content also. So when we're talking about content, you might consider it comes at a free cost. A lot of you, I'll not discuss this particular concept, but a lot of you can relate it to something which is called as your earned media, owned media, and paid media. So we might create owned and earned media as well, and also we might go for paid media on the publishers. Any questions, anyone so far on this? So this is overall ecosystem. This is how different entities are connected with each other. This is what I wanted to tell you. So all these things are in place. That is, we as a consumer also are also in place. We are watching some content, and that content is supported by advertising. We have got a lot of advertisers, which because we consumers spending time on these platforms, they want to show the ads. These advertisers can show these ads or that particular communication with the help of digital marketing agency, which uses these facilitators. And from a learning perspective, we need to understand how these facilitators operate, because they are very technical in nature. Unless we do not understand these facilitators, it is difficult for us to grab an opportunity in the digital space. Okay, so a lot of terminology which will come from these facilitators. Now coming to the activities which are done. So it's a very common image which you will find across the internet, which is called as the internet marketing tree. Again, there might be a little more clarification which can be added to it, but these are majorly the activities which are done in digital marketing. Okay, or we also a lot of time call it as internet marketing, though digital is more vast as compared to internet marketing. So we have got something which is search engine marketing. So on search engine, we can do two things. We can either optimize websites, which is SEO, which is organic in nature, and then we can run something which is called as search ads. So both of these are part of search engine marketing when I'm marketing my business on a search engine. Now we also, when we are doing SEO, we might have to register ourselves on online directories and listings. So these are places like Google My Business listing or Yahoo listings or Just Dial. So because we are coming on an online ecosystem, the way you come online, you might create an account on Facebook, LinkedIn, a lot of other places. Similarly, when we come as a business online, you again have to register yourself that, okay, my new website has come up. So you have to register it at various places. So this is part of directories and listings. Okay, so you might do some blog releases and all that. There are paid listings and a lot of free listing also. So maybe if you're a hotel, you will definitely register yourself on Google My Business. So Google My Business is where you get a Google Maps listing if you have a premises. Whereas you'll also register yourself on TripAdvisor. If you're a restaurant, you might register yourself on Zomato. This is not about the delivery part, but Zomato also has a online forum part where your menu will be shared and all that. If you're a B2B company, you might register yourself on Just Dial. So again, this shows that these companies exist and gives you a lot of online presence. Okay, so any search engine, they help basically in search engine optimization. Then we have got something which is called as email marketing. Now, more majorly, we do something called as marketing automation. Around that, we have got social media marketing, and content marketing is also related to social media marketing. Then we have also got publicity and public relations, where we do a lot of press releases online. We have tie-ups with various news authorities on the digital world, a lot of bloggers and all those kind of things, influencer marketing and all those things happen. Then the last and one of the most important bit is advertising, okay, where we are buying space and paying for either impressions or clicks. So normally we popularly call it as pay per click, but a better word will be online advertising. And whenever advertising is concerned, we are actually buying some media space. The way we buy it, we buy time in television ads, we buy space in newspapers. Similarly, we buy impressions, okay, in impressions or clicks in a digital space. So that is where we are talking about online advertising. Any doubts, anyone? Any faculty, anyone who has anything, please ask me right away. It will be better, though we will open up for the question and answer round in the last. So now what are the job opportunities? So their job opportunities exist at least at 4 different fronts. Okay, one is the client side, okay, which I'm calling as in-house here to be more specific. So you might be working, for example, a company like Coca-Cola or McDonald's or any other company, and you are working in-house. So basically you yourself are the marketing person. So for example, in our ICFI also, in the meeting, we had a person who was doing the marketing in-house. So you might be working directly with your own brand and you're marketing it. Okay, so you might have different posts there as a marketing manager. Again, in marketing manager, if you don't know digital, you will not be hired in today's time. As sir just Rao sir just said us that now marketing is more of digital. We have already a lot of people who have a lot of knowledge about traditional marketing, that is marketing through newspaper or television ads or other formats. But the younger generation is being hired majorly to get these newer things working. So that will be your marketing manager. As a overall marketing you'll be looking at. You might have profiles specifically like social media manager or a profile in content marketing. You might be having a profile in communication manager who might manage some in-house communication as well as some, again, social media and content marketing. Again, these are some entry level jobs, I would say. And as you move ahead, you understand a little more things. You might have a digital marketing specialist. So you are handling 3 or 4 different channels. So you might be expert in advertising as well as in content marketing as well in say marketing automation. Okay, whatever terms I'm using, most of them I will just talk about as I go ahead. Okay, you might be also working in sales. Okay, a lot of times still you will be doing some role or some part of digital marketing even in a sales profile. And then one of the topmost position which we talk about is a strategic planner. Okay, so this is very important for us. So nothing works in its own silo, right? You are working on a pay-per-click ad, but then you have to integrate it with an event which is happening at a particular place. So simply, for example, a car is to be launched. Okay, so you'll have a lot of things going parallelly. A website will be created, a lot of events at mall activations will be planned, a lot of things on television ads will be present, will be done, a lot of publicity using regular print media will also be planned. So how do you integrate all this is the work of strategic planner, which is quite a cumbersome task, that how these different activities will work in sync with each other. So when we talk about different models, IDA model and all that, again, we in the industry also, we again say that what will happen at what different levels, what activity will be done for what particular task, how will we generate awareness, what will we do to generate awareness. Okay, every communication, what is the motive and goal of that particular communication will be planned and executed by this particular person who is called as a strategic planner. Okay, or strategic digital marketing or strategic marketing planner. Now on agency side, again, the things are slightly different. Now you're working for an agency which has multiple clients. So the first position which normally MBA students get is of account manager. So basically you're not doing anything in specific, but you're just understanding what the client's requirement is. Okay, so maybe your client is any XYZ company, you work for a digital marketing agency, and you put up these requirements in front of the specific people who are doing particular task. Okay, so you tell maybe a person who is making a website, that website is to be made, all this information needs to go, and then you communicate what all has been done to the client, understand that okay, everything is fine or not. Okay, so this is one of the things which we call as accounts manager or accounts executive, or even we have got accounts director, and you actually work for the company itself, but you're sitting or you're placed inside the agency. Then we have got again digital online marketing strategists. So you might be a strategist on a particular vertical. It can be content, it can be social media marketing, it can be email, it can be advertising to start with, and ultimately as you grow you might be handling 3 or 4 verticals for a client or entire gamut of digital activities. So again, you have got content manager. A lot of time you have a media manager post where you're managing the ad spend. So how much is to be spent on what different vertical, you'll decide that how much money needs to go to Google, how much money Google ads, how much money needs to go to Facebook, how much you need to put in display ads, how much in video ads. So you'll be taking all these decisions on behalf of your client. Okay, where you're managing the media. Again, you will be again in sync with the traditional arm as well. So it's not only digital. The media normally will be divided into traditional, where some money will be put in print advertising, some other activations, and some part will go in digital endeavors. Again, I explained you strategic planner. Then a lot of profiles. So this is not where things end. A lot of people work for the publishers and intermediaries, specifically in our campus, Hyderabad, because of late has been a hub of startups in technology space, and a lot of companies have their head offices here. So if you talk about, say, for example, a website like shadi.com or 99 acres, okay, so these are nothing but publishers and intermediaries, or maybe Zomato. So they sell ad space. All these companies are selling ad space. So a lot of times students are hired to sell this particular ad space to different companies. So for example, if you're talking about 99 acres, you can go and sell property free of cost, but you understand that majority of the corporates will have some sponsored posts, which you will see at a lot more bigger font, and they will be highlighted. Okay, some featured post. Again, same thing happen across different gamut of services. Maybe on Just Dial, Zomato also, you can have a featured restaurant. So these students or these people, those who work, actually go to the client and sell these ad spaces directly. Okay, so we have got something called as a direct selling of an ad space or an indirect selling. I'll try to talk about this as well and clarify those things. Again, because things are very complicated, specifically for at a higher level, we have got a lot of consulting firms in this particular space. A lot of companies who are in financial consulting have also moved in digital in a big way. So we have got companies like Oracle, Accenture, Cognizant, Deloitte. All these have now a very big digital consulting arm, which again deals with data plus digital marketing. So again, you might have a campaign developer there. So big companies are now going to companies like Adobe also, that Adobe will handle my marketing and advertising. So digital marketing analyst, there is maybe an application, mobile application is to be developed. So these companies will provide consulting in that forte. So digital product development, if anyone is developing a digital product, it can be a mobile app or anything else also. And again, we have got something which is called as user experience and user interface consultant. So these are again hot jobs. Normally it is given to a person who has both technology, that is maybe a BTech plus a MBA background, or any MBA who has some knowledge of technology as well. Okay. Any questions so far, anyone?
Professor, this is Dr. Barik here.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
You just go to the previous slide. For the sake of our students, can you just explain the role of accounts manager? Because we found wherever there is a job opportunity, they normally ask for accounts manager for the fresh MBA students. So could you please little bit give much emphasis on that? What is the role of the accounts manager?
Sure.
What type of job especially they expect to deliver to the company?
All right, fine. So when I started my career in advertising, I was an accounts manager for a brand which might be known to a lot of students. It was a beer company, Carlsberg Brewery. So we have got Carlsberg, Okilimpilone. And again, we had other clients like Hero Honda. Okay, so we worked for specific Apollo tires as well. So as an account manager, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go and meet your client on a regular basis and understand what all activities are happening. So a lot of clients are not having a big marketing or a digital marketing arm at their side. So you will have to parallelly understand what all are the requirements and communicate these requirements to specific people. So for example, a website is to be developed. So a website developer is a technical person. He might have a degree in BTech at max, or maybe he has done some courses in HTML and Java, but then he is not a business person. So you need to understand what kind of an information needs to go, what different pages will be there. Your client will definitely help you, but after all this is finalized, you have to communicate this to the technical person. So this is the account manager who will communicate all this. When the things are at a preliminary stage, he will show or she will show this particular thing to the again client that, okay, this is how it is coming up. Are you okay with it? Do you want some changes? So this is on a day-to-day basis. These are at a very initial job level, things will be there. As you move ahead, you kind of become a consultant yourself. So you start telling your client that this is what will work better. This is what something which will not work good. So you actually become a part of that company itself. So you might be working for Ogilvy and Mehta, for example, or any other Hungama Digital, but your client is Hero Honda or Coca-Cola. So you will understand a lot more about that particular brand, that what exactly Coca-Cola's philosophy of marketing is all about. You will have their brand guidelines. You'll understand. So again, students, please understand there's a very important thing which is called as brand identity guide or brand guidelines. So when it comes to So most of the branding faculties should be teaching this. Okay, so this is called as brand identity. Different words are there. I'm just writing it for you. These are very internal documents, but some of the documents you will find out, okay, openly for some of the companies. For example, Walmart, if I'm not wrong, the identity guide is outside itself. Okay, so you just find some brand manual or brand identity guide. So this will tell you what does a brand stands for. I have a lot of them. If sir wants, I can send it across also to the students. So this will tell exactly that what does a brand stands for. How do you shoot a image, what kind of a communication, what kind of a brand design, all those things will go. So you'll also ensure that whatever is being developed inside your agency adheres to the brand guidelines. Nothing is outside that particular guideline. It talks about font and all that at a very basic level, but it goes up to the tone of the communication and all that. Sir, I hope this helps.
No, coming back, no, Dr. Rishi Deveshwar,
Yes, sir.
as far as the account manager is concerned, if I say that account manager is a single point contact as far as the client is concerned, like, his or her job is to identify or understand the client's requirements and translate them appropriately to the various departments within the agency side.
Exactly.
And
sir.
also, like, in fact, get it done and come back and, sort of coordinate with them. So with the result, on one hand, he's a single point contact. Number two, he or she acts as a bridge between the client and the agency for all purposes. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. So he is a link between the agency and the entire team, which is working in the agency on for that particular client. Okay. So everything goes through him.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So in digital, we will have a lot of responsibilities which will be taken. And as sir is rightly saying, the normal job of MBAs is they start as an account manager. Ultimately, as an account manager, you learn more and more, and you may move up to the next level, which is something like strategic planner. Okay, you might get specialized into one field, you might start doing it, but most of the MBAs will do something. Maybe they are expert in creating only one type of advertising, that is search ads, but they will also handle one or two clients along with that. Okay, so this is how your journey needs to be. So these are the overall jobs which are there, and now we'll get into some other interesting things, that how exactly it works as a consumer also. What do I need to know? So first question to the students here, what do you see here? Anyone can quickly answer it. What is it? Anyone? Is it a choco chip cookie?
Laddu.
Okay. So someone says Laddu wearing a specs. So why is this Laddu wearing a specs?
It is a specs, yeah.
Any idea?
Chocolate biscuit.
Yeah, chocolate biscuit is the right answer. So chocolate biscuit, another word for chocolate biscuit is a choco chip cookie, right? So I'm showing a cookie in a digital marketing session. Anyone? All right. So this cookie, again, everyone who wants to learn more about digital advertising has to understand history, geography, and everything about cookie. This cookie is a very, very interesting and a very, I should say, very capable piece of thing. And a lot of things, new rules, regulations across the globe are happening because of this one small thing, which is called as cookie, which was developed in 1994. So I'll not go into a lot more information about it because we don't have a time, but this cookie is something which is very, very important for all of us in today's time. So what exactly this cookie does is, it is basically, we simply call it as a cookie. You all understand that. And since a new regulation has come up, you see most of the website, the moment you go there, it says that we are using cookies and you have to enable them to access that particular website further. So this particular cookie stores a small information file in your local hard disk drive. And when you visit that particular website again next time, okay, or do something else also across internet, this website might know that. Okay, so we have got something called as a third-party cookie as well. So these cookies play an important role in the digital ecosystem today, and anyone who is trying to get into digital marketing needs to know what the role they play and what exactly are they doing? How are they an enabler of the entire digital marketing ecosystem? I'll just quickly give an example also to just showcase you how things are. It will take 1 or 2 minutes, but very, very interesting thing we will do here. So I'm just going to a regular browser. Okay, my screen is not shared, I think. Let me just share my entire screen once.
Yes, sir.
Is there a possibility to share all the things?
Yes, sir. You can click on share entire screen. The first option on the
see
left
share
side
complete.
top.
First option on
On the left side top, where you will find screen is being written.
So I have, sir, basic, advanced, and then files.
Yeah, in basic, the first option as screen is there. So you can
Yeah, I got it, right. Fine. So here I am right now in Firefox, okay? And most of the students are smart in telling me this thing, but how to delete our history. So I'll just kind of refresh everything. We normally delete our history, even if it is, okay, even if it is there, it is all right. So I'll just reset. So basically now what I've done is, just give me a second. I'll just try to delete my history so that you can see things afresh. All right, so here it is. So what you see right now, I just opened Google, and that is why we are seeing some dots. So I've just using a particular add-on to just showcase you. So this is how we start our journey across the day, maybe on a mobile phone or on a desktop device. And I go and visit various websites. I don't have time here. Otherwise, I ask my students, okay, what kind of a website you will visit? So they give different websites. I'm just opening some of the websites. A lot of time we put up the website rather than writing their full name in a universal search bar. So I just write Facebook, and before it actually opens up, I just go to a search engine. Okay, so I've got a search engine. It has gone through search engine, and I'm going here. Okay, so Facebook, basically I'll just log in and it will open here. Parallelly, I might do something else. I might open Amazon .in. Okay, so Amazon India website. Parallelly, I might go to another website, Times of India, which I did not write properly. So this is how you normally browse 4, 5, 10 websites within a matter of maybe 5-7 minutes. Most of us, okay, including anyone on the internet, opens 15, 20, 30 pages, okay, maybe across a website. So what you saw here was a clean screen earlier. I hope you're able to see something moving now, the dots, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what actually where I've gone is only 3 or 4 websites. The first one, I definitely through Google I've gone there. Some of them I've gone directly. For example, Amazon shopping I've gone directly. Times of India, maybe I went through Google as a search engine. So technically I have shared some data only with 3 websites, okay, which are in the circle here, what you can see. But on a real front, I have shared data across all the entities, and I'm still sharing the data as you find new triangles coming up across all these entities, which all of us are seeing here. Okay, it's just 3 websites, and I'll just now show you very quickly. I'm not sure if things will be very clearly visible. So this is timesofindia.com where I've gone. Okay, this is the triangle. Sorry, this is a circle. But this Times of India has already shared information about me coming in. So when I say me, what is me? This me is not Rishi Davesa. Okay, it is anonymously a IP address or a particular unique identifier which has been given to me. Okay, but again, the computer at some level, they are able to identify that this is a particular user. Okay, so it can be identified based on the IP address or other identifiers. So these all entities, whatever these are, okay, so their names are also given here. So Times of India has already shared my information with these so many entities. And now this is another website, Amazon.India. So now these 2 entities here, 1 and 2, are connected together. Okay, so these 2 entities have information and they might transfer this information. So for example, Times of India, through this entity, that is media.amazon.com or through images.pubmatch.com can get my information that, okay, Mr. Rishi is sitting on amazon.in right now and what page I'm watching. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is that these different websites are interacting with each other. Now you might say that, sir, does it work on our college websites? Again, if you're working in a digital ecosystem, it is very difficult to work without these kind of things. So I've just written IBS India here, and now you will see IBS India will also show up. Okay. So very quickly we will find out IBS India should be coming up somewhere here. Okay. This is another entity. So this is IBS India. All right. So IBS India again is connected. I can just stretch it if you want to see. So IBS India is connected to all this entire ecosystem in a different way. This is just 3 or 4 websites. In matter of 5 or 10 minutes, my entire activity is getting shared across the internet in some way. It is being shared in a very technical manner, but still companies have access. All this is being enabled through the cookies. So I hope you've got the idea. Anyone, any quick question on this, whatever I was showing you? So this is how basically third parties, companies, a lot of advertisers are actually able to, or even companies are able to access information about where I'm going. And this particular thing is called as behavioral targeting. So they're targeting my behavior. They know everything about me, what kind of a websites I go on, what kind of a time I spend there, what products I'm interested in, what I'm searching. Everything is available on the internet. They do not know, okay, that this particular person is Rishi Davesa, he stays in Hyderabad. They know that this particular person is in Hyderabad, maybe a very closer location also where I'm coming from. But again, they will not have my exact address, my phone number most of the times, or my name, but they will know my behavior of my computer, what exactly I've been doing all through till the time I do not delete all this. A lot of time when we delete also this information can come back. Okay. So a lot of people say that this is a very bad thing, but as a digital marketer, I say, no, it is not bad. It is a good thing because this enables everything in the digital ecosystem. And we have given power to the consumers to delete all this data. So if they are smart enough, they can delete this data or opt out of this particular tracking also, but then they will not be getting a lot of unique services which they get free of cost from companies. So as a choice, if you are using an Android phone and you think your operating system is free, it is coming at a price because it is again taking a lot of information outside your device and selling that information to the companies. Okay. So you might choose for something like iOS, which is not doing this because it's a hardware company. It's not a software company, unlike Google. So anyway, these are some other bigger questions which one should be aware about. So this is how cookies actually work. This is what I was trying to show you. And again, I will leave the slides with you. Already I've shared it. So there are different ways these companies use this particular information. So what this particular graphic, again, this is at least 3 years old. In today's time, we will have a lot more information which can be shared. Okay, so what type of data is gathered, what are the methods, and how this data is used. This particular thing is given here. I'll not go into more details, but this information is there. This graphic tells that which company uses what kind of a tracking. So most of the dots you see that they are all highlighted. So these companies, for example, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Google, what all different things they use to get consumer data into their own hands. Okay, most of them use all different ways, including cookies. So when the companies do this, this is what we call as behavioral targeting. Okay, just quickly read this out. It's a very important concept for everyone to understand how exactly we target consumers in a digital ecosystem. Behavioral targeting comprises a range of technologies and techniques used by online website publishers and advertisers aimed at increasing the effectiveness of advertising using web browsing behavior information. So again, we are putting it in a very positive way as an advertiser, that we are collecting all this information so that advertising can be more effective. Okay, we understand that what products and services people are interested in, and I show them targeted ads. Okay, so this, when we companies do this, this particular thing is called as behavioral targeting. We are targeting your behavior because you went on a particular website last night. You see all this. All of you are observer of this. So you were sitting on an Amazon website, checking a particular product, and next day on some other XYZ website, Times of India, you see the same product. Okay, so how did Amazon get to know that you are interested in this particular product? Sorry, how did Times of India get to know? Because the data was shared by Times of India. So we also call it as something which is called as retargeting ads or remarketing ads. So we have got all these kind of things which can be done. Any doubt, anyone on this? So we have got some key terms. Let me just quickly check time also. So we have got something called as programmatic advertising or real-time bidding. Normally, these are very complicated concepts. So you can quickly find a video about these things on your online sites on YouTube. We have got a global authority which is called as IAB, Interactive Advertising Bureau.com, which sets the entire regulations on digital advertising across the globe. So please check out these two terms, which is programmatic advertising and real-time bidding. If time permits, I will, or if someone asks, I'll share those things as well with you. But as of now, I'll just go into the next thing which we want to understand. So now the next agenda which we wanted to discuss for this particular day was, what are the profiles? I already shared at different levels, that client side or at agency side, these are the different profiles which are there. But now if you want to get into digital marketing as a career, what different things can you start at? So it is very difficult for you to say that I am master of all. So there are different things depending on your interest, depending on your capability, you can actually, or maybe as your training, you can look into it. So the first one is advertising. When we talk about advertising, there are three major verticals which we have. The biggest one is definitely Google. On Google, we have got, earlier it was called as Google AdWords. Please everyone remember, now it is no more Google AdWords. It is now called as Google Ads. So on Google Ads, you have got 4 different types of advertising. Okay, majorly I'll not talk about the one of the promotions which come on the search engine itself, but other 3 types you all know, that is a search ad, or a display ad, or a video ad. So you might want to learn these 3 things. Again, learning them is not that very difficult. You have already a Google account. You can just go to Google advertising, write everything, and as an advertiser, whatever interface comes, it will be right in front of you. Parallelly, you can go to YouTube. There are so many videos. You can go to specific sessions from Google itself. So we have got something which is called as Google Digital Garage, where you have a lot of learning resources, or you might join some specific short-term course. And ultimately, you can take certifications from Google itself. These are free certifications. So you have got a certification in search ads, you've got a certification in display ads. These specific certifications are there. Normally, after building on some knowledge, and which should take not more than 30-40 hours, and giving a small test, you will get this kind of a certification. So most of our students, when we teach them, for example, in my college, we have 700 plus students who take digital marketing. Around 300-400 of them would have these kind of certifications before they sit for a job. Again, these certifications can be cheated and taken. Let me just tell you that. Okay, so just having a certification is no big deal, because a question is coming in front of you. Parallelly, you can just look in the answer in a different window. Okay, so the employers also understand that. But if you are certified, they will ask you questions to check actually how much you are passionate about these particular things. So this is a good way to get something additional on your CV. Then we have got something which is called as marketing automation. A lot of work I have done in this particular field, quite advanced field. I'll quickly talk about this also. So when we talk about email marketing in today's time, a lot of things are automated there. You get mails automatically depending on your last activity as a user. Okay, so you get so many mails all the time from company. It is not that someone is sitting on the next other side and sending you manually those mails, right? Otherwise, a lot of human effort will be wasted. So you think about a company like Urban Clap, which again sends you that, okay, this is a service, or you think about Urban Ladder or even Amazon. So you get daily or weekly mails. So these are again system driven. A lot of marketing is done automatically. So if you have understanding about these things, again, a lot of free resources are there. HubSpot Academy is one of them. So HubSpot as a product, HubSpot marketing automation tool is there, which also provides free certifications to students like you to understand it more. Okay, so you can just check out the resources there. Then definitely, because a lot of data is produced, I just showed you some piece of data, but again, across website, a lot of data is there. So we have got a plethora of jobs where you might be working as an analyst. So in case of, if you want to work as an analyst or specifically in digital marketing field, you should first check out Google Analytics itself. So again, it has free certification, a lot of resources are there. Okay, so if you want to really learn, it is not, I'll not say that you want to go for a paid course only, or you should be relying only on the faculty which you have in your education system, you can definitely go on your own, watch videos, practice things, see things parallelly, and access that. Then we have got, so if you're mathematically sound, if you love numbers, you're good in Excel, some other things, Tableau, other analytics, then you might want to look up for a job as an analyst as well. There are a lot of students who say that, no, I am not that good in numbers, but I'm very creative as a person. I get a lot of ideas. I'm very good in content creation. Definitely those kind of people also have a lot of value. They can look into how content marketing and social media marketing can be done. Then we have got, moving to slightly higher level, we have got strategic channel specialists. So you say that, okay, I am a specialist in this particular field. When you say specialist, you have full understanding of that, and you can measure things, compare it. So we have got, for example, a pay-per-click specialist. So he will understand at best how to utilize clients' money in the best manner on different advertising activities. It is not easy, mind you, because we have got so many different channels. It starts from pay-per-click advertising, from Google Ads. On Google Ads, again, we've got different things, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. So where would you put up the client's money? Okay, so you have to answer these kind of questions. Then people who have some website development background, app development background, technology background, but they have done MBAs, they have an opportunity in a very interesting big field, which is in a field of UX, UI interface. So you might be working with technology people, or you might yourself be doing this particular thing as a consultant or directly. So you develop mobile apps, or you develop not very simple, but more complicated websites. Okay. So again, this can be a highly paying job. Any questions on this, anyone? So I'll not be able to talk about skills which are required. I've just given you an overview of all these different profiles. I'll not be able to talk about the skills which are required for each one of them. It will be slightly different and it will be very detailed. But what are the skills overall as a marketer which you need across these job profiles after specifically as a management student? Okay, what the companies are looking forward, which are the common skills which you should have, is what I have put up here. I'll just maybe go one by one. So this all goes to basic marketing for a lot of things. First thing is you need to understand, maybe it's your own product, that is you're working for that company, or it is your client. You need to understand someone is writing something, trying to do something. Okay, I'll just try to refresh. Okay, so you need to understand what is the product's unique selling proposition. So any product which is out in the market needs to have some kind of a USP. Okay, and what is the target market? Without understanding this, you will not be able to do any of these, whatever we are talking about. Okay, these 6-7 things, key tasks which are there to be done as a digital marketer, you will not be able to do that. That is the first thing which you need. This skill you need to have to understand what is the product details, everything, how is that particular market, all those kind of things. There are a lot of tools to again understand this. Specifically competition, you need to understand the competition. When you're talking about competition, it is competition in digital sense. It's not what is the market share and all that. Definitely you need to know that also. But when you're understanding, if you're say selling electronic, a washing machine, you need to understand that when a person will look for a washing machine, what companies will come at the top, what companies are there. Okay, so you know that, but you have to test it also, whether it is Whirlpool, LG, Samsung, or maybe other smaller brands which are coming at the top. Okay, if someone is looking for a particular something which is very specific, for example, front loading washing machine with heater facility, okay, or which has a warm water, then what websites will come at a front, okay, or what products are being considered by consumers. So a lot of this kind of research can be done in a online through online tools. You need to understand different customer personas. Okay, so across business, across target market, we might have different type of customers, okay, which have different personality. Okay, their psychographics might be different. So you have to again understand that, because when you're trying to create content, your persona becomes very, very important. They might be again in the same income group, but someone likes a contemporary look, someone likes a very traditional look. So these are different persona types. Again, you will have to send them different kind of a content when you're trying to market them. Again, what are the recent trends? You need to follow that very, very interestingly, because your clients and your market will always be looking at that. So if you're it's you have to be in the field all the time. What is recent happening? Maybe when you're talking about viral marketing, what are the changes? What companies are doing? What new features are available across different products? You need to be aware about all those things. Role played and linkage of specific activity with overall marketing endeavors. So this is again very, very important, where most of the people fail. It is not only your jobs. If you're a content marketing person, you need to understand what is happening on other marketing activity side also, because at the end, for a consumer, everything is linked. He might be consuming the content, which is he's watching a Facebook post. At the same time, he might be also going to the website and checking things, and also might be there is an advertisement which is coming in front of him. So all these things need to be integrated. So you need to be understanding that what all other things are going in the company. Again, digital marketing is all about tools. Okay, I'm not talking about tools at all here. We have got a lot of paid tools, lot of free tools, and without understanding the power of these tools. So when we talk about tools, we have got, for example, in SEO, maybe 100 tools. Without at least 10-15 basic tools, you will not be able to do things. Okay, so these tools, you should be able to know these tools and what is their competence. Just to name a few tools, for example, you've got something like in email, you've got MailChimp. Okay, it allows you to send emails free of cost. In SEO, you've got something like BuzzSumo, okay, or Moz, moz.com. So you need to know these paid and free or freemium tools, okay, which will give you a lot of functionality. The way we all understand that Zoom is a platform, similarly, there are at least 100, 200 tools which everyone should be aware if you're actually looking for a digital marketing job. So once you read a lot more about it, you'll understand that these are the tools which will make my job easy in this particular manner. And the last thing, which is again one of the most important thing, is you need to understand how this so this is the biggest question which everyone will ask you, that fine, you've done this particular thing, you've shared this particular post, but as a company, what is the return to me? Okay, how much sale did this particular post made? A lot of clients will ask these kind of direct questions. Okay, so we have got something, what is the specific contribution of every activity, if you can calculate that. Okay, again, it's difficult, but if you can calculate ROI, that is return on investment, ultimately how much sales that particular thing generated and what was the profitability out of that. And also we have something which is called as marketing attribution. So to what thing you will give credit to? Okay, this is slightly complicated concept which is very important, that is called as marketing attribution. So to what will you attribute? Okay, a particular person has visited a website. It may be happening that this particular person first went through a search engine, checked a lot of things, and ultimately then later on he saw an ad and clicked on that particular ad. Should we attribute this particular visit only to the ad? No, it is because of the SEO as well that the customer has come. So there are definite, this is called as multi-channel attributions, where people who are doing this kind of work, they are able to, through data, understand which channel is better, which is not. Okay, so this is again multi-channel attribution. So we are at time. I'll just take another 5-7 minutes and then we will stop for question and answer round. We'll have around 20 minutes for that as well. I hope that is fine, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, fine.
Yeah, that's
so
fine.
now I'm going into some technical part. Okay, some of the things I'm just sharing across different slides which we would have created for very, very big companies as well. We had got our client, one of the client is Telecom Malaysia, which is equivalent to BSNL of India. So it's having one of the highest, tallest buildings in the world, which is Telecom Malaysia Towers. Okay, so that was one of our clients, interestingly. Again, we had some of the clients which were India based, so I was basically had for them. So some of the things might come from there. So this is overall. First, I want to tell you, when we target a client, most of the time, even Rao sir was there the other day. So this is what we try to tell or explain to our client in digital marketing. Please try to understand it. Very, very interesting. So what we do is we do a lot of marketing, which is SEO, okay, which you understand, and search ads. Okay, we do social media marketing, we do advertising, okay, which is pay-per-click ads. Ultimately, all these things bring a person to a website. On a website, we have something which is called as a landing page, where you put in your email address, name, phone number, okay, and that is when we get a lead. If a person fills a particular form on a landing page with the right information, a lot of tasks as a digital marketer is done. Okay, I've given, my task as a marketer was to give a lead, Okay, to the salesperson, I've given a lead. After that, the salesperson will follow that particular lead. Okay, so this is what engagement with form. If it happened, if it was yes, okay, the lead has come, sales people will start engaging. It can happen on a digital front, it can happen on a non-digital front, but most of the time, as you understand, we will not leave our email address or phone number, okay, at the first instance. So then we need to understand that, okay, this particular person came to a website, spent so much of time here, and still did not give us any contact. So we have got two options here. Either we need to spend more money, okay, and bring him back through advertising again. Okay, so we have got ways which is called as retargeting or remarketing. I can show this person an ad again, and again he will come after seeing an ad at this stage. Again, I want him to fill a form. Okay, so this is additional money which I need to invest. I need to decide based on what he has done on my website. So if you have engaged a lot, but still did not convert, for example, he downloaded some price quotation, or he spent 15-20 minutes checking with different products, which you all do, right? So a lot of time after that, you see an ad again. So I need to decide as a marketer, is it worth showing him a advertisement and bringing him back again on my website? Most of the time it is worth it. So we again re-advertise and we wait for the customer to fill this particular form. Once the form is filled, we normally take email address and phone number. Most of these things are authenticated through a OTP or through a link which is sent to your email. Okay, and after that our work becomes very easy comparatively, because I've got a option to send you emails, as compared to advertising where I'm paying money to someone like Google, okay, or ad network. Basically that money will go to the publisher. So it will go to Times of India or Facebook, whosoever is showing that particular ad, or a particular to a particular YouTuber also, that money will go. Most of you understand that, right? So it will go to the content creator ultimately, that share of that money. But again, I need to invest directly. But if this form has been filled, okay, when this form is filled, okay, this form is placed through a marketing automation tool, which is again a very smart tool. It places a small cookie in the person's computer. Okay, and after that, whenever you go again on that particular website, we are able to track that, okay, Mr. Rishi, who filled a form on this particular date, again went to that website. What pages did I check? What was my interaction with the chat? Okay, if there is a chat bot or online chat, all these things come to me in a central place. So I've got a very interesting way to communicate with my audience again and again. So I can basically send him or her push notifications, emails, phone calls, SMS, without spending directly money on advertising or directly paying for clicks, okay, which slightly is cheaper. I can directly understand what is his or her activity, what different channels this person is interacting with me, whether this particular lead is hot, cold, or warm. I get all this entire 360-degree understanding of the person, because now he's totally under my observation. Okay, so I hope everyone understood this. So this is again very complicated, not that very easy. Not every agency does it, but if you work for a slightly more bigger agencies, this is how things will be done. So this is basically what we call as marketing automation, plus maybe you're using some other tools. So again, this has been depicted when I'm showing this Ashiana. These are 4 websites. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these websites you can consider as landing pages. Someone has a question? Because okay, so I would get a lot of people on these websites, okay, or on landing pages where they're supposed to fill forms. So these are actually real estate websites. This for my client. I've worked lots of them. This is actually, all these 3 companies are selling big housing projects in Gurgaon. Okay, so if you search the center code Gurgaon, you will get it. So maybe one house costs 1 crore rupees, around 1 crore to 1.5 crore. And we had an inventory of 500 flats to be sold. Okay, again, Ashiana Mulberry is similarly another real estate property from the same client. So these are the landing pages. We will advertise and market ourselves on different channels. The person will come on the landing page, fill the form. When the form is, he might or she might chat on the chat client on the website, and this information goes to Acton, which enables us to send a lot of email communication automatically. It also tells us what people are doing. Okay, what person did, how much time did they spend on a particular page. And if I want, I can just transfer this particular lead to a Salesforce, which is a sales automation app, to Salesforce. There are different companies. This is again a product from Salesforce, which is now the world's second largest software company. Okay, Acton again is a marketing automation tool. We have got another substitutes like HubSpot is there, and Adobe is also there. So these are different products. So a lot of technology analytics is involved in all this, and this is how exactly things happen. Similarly, we have got some kind of a flow in social media also, what different activities are done to understand this. So what I suggestion is understand one of them, go in depth. Okay, try to take some, if you're not getting any paid opportunity, try to do some internship in that field, and then you can build your career. Initially the salaries might be low, but eventually, because it's a very fastly growing field, you will be able to see that the knowledge base, as the knowledge base rises, you will have a very fast rise. So this is all from my side, and I'm open for the questions. I'll just stop sharing so that I can at least get some feedback. Maybe if some cameras are on, I can see you. So I'm open for questions now. That is all from my side. If you have any questions, please, you can ask me.
Dr. Udipto, would you like to moderate?
Sir,
There are
sir.
some questions in the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes.
But either maybe you can ask the concerned students to ask themselves, or
Right, sir.
maybe you can moderate and ask the question
Sir.
on their behalf. Either way.
Akanksha, are you there? If you can switch on your video and ask the question to Rishi sir. Okay. Rishi sir, Akanksha have asked.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so what Akanksha has asked is, are branding and digital direct marketing the same? If yes, what do the terms mean? Is it different? Explain how. Okay, so branding and direct marketing are very different thing. So branding simply means that creating an identity for something. Okay, so when anything has a, as we understand the definition of branding is that anything which has a logo, sign, or symbol, that is called as a brand. The moment you name something, okay, it is not a generic product, it is called as a brand. So very simple example will be that when you go to a store, okay, store again, it is automatically becoming a store brand to some extent. But say you go to Big Bazaar or maybe JioMart in today's time, or maybe to your local Karyana wala, and you ask him to give you 1 kg of sugar, okay, or you yourself, there is a big bucket, okay, or big aisle from which you take sugar, you put it in a poly bag, there is no name, okay, so this is basically a generic or an unbranded product. But on parallel, you have got different brands which are also selling sugar. So you just pick up a packet of sugar which is coming from any of XYZ companies. Okay, it can be a private label or a store label. Store label, like for example, you might have a JioMart sugar itself, or they have created different names, as you understand, okay, under their own store brands. So that becomes a brand. Ultimately, when something becomes more and more popular, people start understanding it that yes, this thing is known for this particular product category, we call it as a lot more powerful or a stronger brand. So if I talk about mineral water, you might say that Kinley, Bisleri. So this is all what we are talking about branding. Okay. So now what is direct marketing? Guys, this is again, as a marketing student, you need to understand these terms very well, very clearly. Direct marketing is when a company is marketing directly to the customer. Okay. There are no intermediaries in between. So when the most common example given of direct marketing is normally Dell, right? So Dell was first company which started selling its laptop directly to the customer. So that is called as direct marketing, where you do not buy the products from intermediaries, but you directly buy it from the company itself. Another example of direct marketing will be OnePlus. Okay, so for example, you can go, initially OnePlus was sold on its own website and through Amazon only. Even right now, you might not easily find you cannot find actually on it the phone on the retail front. So you can directly only buy it from, if on a retail setup, only from a OnePlus store, which is owned by that company only. So that is direct marketing, where there are no intermediaries. Okay, I hope this answers the question. Explain search engine marketing in detail. All right, so very interesting. I'll just quickly explain you search engine marketing in detail. I'll again share my screen for that. So this is where we are. This is a search engine. Very interestingly, in today's time, sometime back, Rao sir will remember it. If we used to write a wrong address here in our address bar, okay, it used to show 404, page not found, okay. But in today's time, we have got something which is called as a universal search bar, because Google as a company wants us to go through this particular search bar all the time, because it wants to know what we are searching for, okay. Because whenever we search through Google, Google gets an opportunity to show a ad to us, and whenever they get an opportunity to show an ad, it is an opportunity for them to earn money, okay. So basically, I don't have any address bar here. If I write www dot something, it will directly go to the website. But the way it has made us do things, it is very interesting that we normally do not write the website name, we just write a single word. So for example, if I write here, after my session, you say you are motivated to go more and learn about digital marketing. So you write down digital marketing courses, okay, in India. You might make some mistake in type and all that. Google is smart enough to make those corrections. So now you have written something, okay. This is called as a search query. As a consumer, we have made a search query, right, on a search engine. So I've made a search query, and the page which has now is showing up is called as SERP, search engine result page, okay. So this is basically when we are doing any marketing on this page, okay, which is loading here, it is called as search engine marketing. So we can market on this particular page in two ways. One of them is the ad, okay. These are the ads, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 ads are coming. So these ads are all pay-per-click ads. When I click on this particular ad, someone gets money, someone loses money, okay. I'm just clicking on this particular ad, which is coming from id.com, okay. I just opened this particular page. A lot of information about who I am and all that is in actually this particular URL, okay. Let me just again click so that I can just capture it. So a lot of information is already in this URL, that who I am, what is the medium, from where what I did, all this information is actually going to the other side. And someone has got money, someone has earned money, someone has lost money. Who has lost money, who has earned money? Anyone, any idea? Very quickly. Already a financial transaction has happened. All right, so I'm not very sure if you are understanding it, but because I clicked on ID ad, I'm not going to enroll in any course. I'm myself a professor. So ID has lost money, okay, because they had paid already some money for this click, because it was an ad to a company like Google, and Google has already earned money. So this is how a search ad works, okay. So these are all paid ads, which are basically pay-per-click ads. And now at the bottom, what we see, the first link which is coming, this is not an advertisement. This is coming because this website is best optimized to social beat. The social beat is best optimized to my search query. And I again click here on this website. This time, no money has been paid to Google, because this is an organic link. It has been earned by social beat by doing something which is called as search engine optimization. So these are all at the bottom. These are all search engine optimized links, okay. And again, at the top and again at the bottom, again, these are ads. So whenever there is an ad, it is a pay-per-click. So again, if I click here, I am Kozhikode already has paid money to Google as a company, because this was an advertisement. So these two things, that is search engine optimization and search engine ads, or PPC search ads, are two things which you do in a search SEM, search engine marketing, which you asked me. I'll just stop sharing my screen so that I hope my screen was visible. I'm not very sure.
Yes, it was visible.
Through
Yes,
some,
Yeah,
yeah,
it,
some of
it
the
is
might.
visible. It is visible.
All right, okay. What qualities are required to order the effective in an SEO role in your option? So SEO is a very, very technical thing. You need to have full knowledge about different tools in SEO. How do you get a better rank? A lot of knowledge about this is already there on YouTube, and you can check it out. A lot of tools are there in terms of SEO tools, and it's a very, very emerging field even today, and you can learn a lot more, okay. So even as a marketer, if you understand SEO, you will be able to smartly understand what the competition is all about. So a person who is an expert in SEO will be very effective in marketing as well, because he will be able to understand what all other brands are there and what exactly are they trying to do in the marketplace. Okay. Google will earn. Okay, someone has answered my question on the chat. I think any other question? Explain the difference. I think best way to start a blog. Okay, these are very easy things. Nobody reads a blog these days. Okay. You should have asked this question 10 years back. In today's time, if you are thinking, you have to be very vocal about things. So your blog should be a vlog. Okay, that is a virtual blog. You should come on the camera, make a YouTube channel, then some very interesting, extraordinary content you should create. Then only you might get some success. Okay, those times are gone when people were reading things. Nobody, the way you don't want to read things, nobody on the internet wants to read things. They want to watch some videos, short videos. So maybe you can go, rather than starting with blogging, if you really want to make something revenue for yourself, I would suggest you that you can actually go on a platform like YouTube or Snapchat or other platforms and maybe make your presence felt and use those channels. Okay, otherwise we have got free tools like blogger.com and WordPress, where you can still create a blog. For companies, they can definitely create an inside blog using their own templates. Data, what I'm not understanding, Dilip Kumar, what data? You made some mistake earlier. Okay, being a digital marketing firm, is it ethical to
No,
collect
sir, I'm asking first question, sir.
internet users information without
Use data, yes, sir.
All right, so this is again a very good question, and I take a lot of sessions not only for marketers but for general people, for people like Rao sir and other mass audiences. Okay, which a lot of times say that digital agencies are using a lot of data and all that. So my fine request to you is, all of us love free, everything free, right? Now we say that, okay, Gmail is free, this is free, that is free, and our life is very easy. And whenever we sign up for a new thing, okay, there is a small checkbox which says that terms and condition, please go through our terms and condition, right? We just scroll it in 1 second and we just press OK. So in those terms and condition, everything is written, whatever the advertiser is doing, and your advertiser as a mandate, as a legal thing, whatever data they're storing, they have given access back to you for that particular data as well. So which I'll just quickly demonstrate using, again sharing my screen. Just give me a second. I hopefully will go to the brand identity guide. Okay, I'll just try to share my entire screen. So now you might go to something which is called as Facebook ad settings, or you might also go to something which is called as Google ad settings. Okay, and a lot of other things are also there in this platform. I'll not be able to share it, but I've just gone to my ad settings here, and I will get every information which Google as a company has about me on this particular page. Okay, so my ad settings are on right now. It is asking me to sign in to see my settings. I've got 2 accounts. I hope it is on my official account as well. Otherwise, I'll just show you on my personal account. So whatever I do using my personal account, whatever information Google is storing, all of it is given to me also, that this is Rishi, this is the information which we have about you, which we are sharing with your advertisers. And I have an option to turn my ad personalization off. Okay, here I can turn it off. I will not turn it off because I have to show it to people like you a lot of times. And I don't mind companies using my information to advertise me, because this way advertising is a lot more relevant. They show me ads of things which I'm interested in. I might find out the best thing to watch on Netflix, okay, on this particular weekend, because my advertising is on. So I will keep it on, but just let us see what all information they are showing me. So they are telling me an age. Okay, so I've just turned 35 last year, and till that time, so I was not very sure whether it is accurate, but till before that, it was showing me in an age bracket of 24 to 35. Okay, so most of you, if you have just opened up the same thing for yourself, you'll see a different age group. They're saying that, okay, we identify you as a male. These are the things. Okay, I'm interested in academic conferences and a lot of information. Okay, so so everything about me, whatever they are sharing it with advertisers, whatever my interests are, whatever I've searched, all that information, they have shown it to me very clearly here. And it is up to me. I have full control of this information myself. And if I want, I can just turn off the ad personalization. So a lot of this information will not be available to any of the third parties. But still, it does not mean that I will not see ads. I will still see ads which will be slightly less relevant. Okay, so they will not be able to behaviorally target me, but there are other ways to target where they'll still try to target. So I hope this is a very interesting question. A lot of people ask me the same question, or in general in today's ecosystem, nothing is hidden. Okay, please let me just tell you, students like you should know that if you are in China, your entire social profile is there. So we have, the way we have got something called as your credit score in India, you have got a social score in a country like China. So where they scan your face, if you are smoking, if you're consuming alcohol, they will be able to map this information to your personal profile and give you a social security score as well. I hope you're getting my point. So India still as a country is a lot more better. Okay. But when we talk about privacy, things are not really in our hand. It is difficult until unless you are outside this ecosystem. So you have to be digitally unconnected if you are so much bothered about privacy in today's time. I hope this answers your question. Dilip.
Dilip, is it all
Yes,
right?
sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir,
I think he's also asking another question
Yes, sir.
with regard to digital
All right,
marketing in the
digital
rural
marketing.
markets. Rural
So
markets.
again, this is a very interesting thing. Most of the people ask. A lot of initiatives on rural front, okay, are also taking place in rural parts. A lot of people say that whatever when I teach also some specific colleges which are NARM and all that, which are rural specific, okay, agri-based B schools and all, that all this is not relevant to rural areas. The answer is slightly different. Okay, so now you see that Paytm is a very common thing. It is used across small places as well to a majority. So as we see a lot of mobile phones becoming cheaper and people moving out of feature phone to a smartphone, they have got internet access. Jio has been doing a phenomenal work. Okay, so a lot of things are moving to the rural front also. There are some specific applications which are being developed, used by farmers in agri format. OTP has become something which is so very common. Okay, without understanding how a OTP operates in today's time, one-time password, you cannot do a lot of services. Okay, so even if as a rural person you understand that, okay, I have to provide an OTP, where I need to provide a not. So this again tells that SMS marketing can be very effective, which is again part of digital marketing. So these things are moving very fast in those sides as well. The divide, because of technology, the divide between rural and urban is not that much what it used to be maybe a decade or 2 decades ago. Now they also watch content on YouTube all the time, so you can reach them. And digital marketing is so very interesting that you have ways to target people in a very specific manner. So even I can target people within 1 kilometer geography or in a specific language, which you all see. Okay, so if you're sitting in your part, you will see a lot of local ads which are coming on YouTube in your native language. Okay, whatever it is. So if you're in Punjab, you might get Punjabi. Here I might get in Telugu, though I don't understand Telugu, but still I might see a lot of ads in Telugu. So again, that is possible to market to these people in their native languages, again, which is very easy as compared to traditional media, where it was not that very easy to execute these things. So I think it is an opportunity in these rural parts as well, as the youth, the younger generation, even in rural India, starts getting access to such things. That is a mobile phone and an internet. If you have this, you are a 100% digital consumer. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Now, Dr.
All right.
Deveshwar, there is another question about what's the difference between SEO and SEM. I think this is a common confusion among a lot of people.
All
You
right.
may like
All
to
right.
clarify that.
Perfect. So in the industry also, there's a lot of confusion about this term. Okay, we as an academician are very accurate in what we want to define, but industry normally uses an open term. So when we talk about SEM, or when we talk about marketing in general, all of you need to understand marketing goes back to 4 P's or 7 P's. All right, product, place, price, and promotion. And when we talk about advertising, it comes under a 4th P, that is called as promotion. So when we talk about now, coming specifically to this particular answer, when we talk about search engine marketing, from an academic point of view, it includes 2 things, which is search advertising and search engine optimization, both. Okay, so these two things, search engine marketing, constitutes of two things, which is advertising and search engine optimization. But in industry, a lot of times, because search engine optimization itself is a very, very big field, a lot of people say search engine optimization and search engine marketing. So when they're actually saying search engine marketing, they refer to search engine advertising. Okay, so basically when you're doing search engine advertising, you will be directly investing money in advertising. You will be having a budget on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis to put up in advertising. So, you know, a lot of time industry says that as search engine marketing, which should be actually called as search advertising. I hope the answer is clear. So search engine marketing will have two things, search engine optimization and search engine advertising. A lot of time search engine advertising all alone is also called as search engine marketing, and SEO, search engine optimization, is called separately search engine optimization.
No, can I add something to that, Dr. Deveshwar?
Yeah, sir, please go ahead.
So please correct me if I'm wrong. The SEO is more of a technology function.
All right.
Search engine optimization, I think perhaps you got to do a lot more in terms of the technology. I think you need to understand, you know, how the kind of, you know, the search engines, you know, crawl, and you need to understand, you know, like sort of what are the keywords and how the keywords can be populated across, so that, you know, like the search engines, you know, can crawl and get the best.
Right, sir. Right.
That is my perception.
Right,
Whereas in
sir.
the case of the SEM, you are making use of the kind of SEO for marketing purposes. Typically, like if you take our CIT team, they are a lot more into search engine optimization. When they design the website, they look at, you know, the cookies, they look at, you know, how the various search engine algorithms work. They try and see and optimize that.
Right.
And whereas a marketing guy, he may or may not do so much of SEO, but he will try and sort of market that, you know, using this kind of technology or tools. I think, please correct me if my impression is wrong.
Sir, so this is whatever you're saying about SEO is extremely right. Okay. That is, you need to understand how search engine algorithms work and how does a crawler comes to a website and what are the keywords, how will you optimize. But interestingly, and you will do this particular, the team will do this particular function every 6 months or 1 year. But advertising is even more technically complicated. Okay, let me just, because that piece I actually had put up those terms. If you just see on my slides also, when we are talking about programmatic advertising and real-time bidding and all that. Okay, because here money is involved. You might, another one person might be paying ₹5 for a click, another company might be paying ₹7. Okay, so the ecosystem of advertising is a lot more complicated. Okay, and because money is involved there, which can be 1,000 lakhs to even crores of rupees for some company, being technologically sound there is even more important. So there also a lot of technologies are there. And we need to understand those technologies also, how, and it is, we need a very advanced mathematical mindset to understand, because we have got very advanced optimization algorithms there. It is all a function of AI. So you can actually target your consumers based on a function, which is you want to maximize number of clicks. You want to maximize the overall people who are filling the form. Okay, so when you go to Google Ads, you will get all these settings there. That is, how do you want, what do you want to bid for? What is the optimization function that you're choosing? So these are some of the things which are a lot more typical in nature, which any person who is looking for digital advertising job needs to know very well. Okay, and after 3 or 4 months, again, new learning will come, as they were also telling that we will learn from the data which will be produced. Okay, so technologically, these things are even at one step ahead. And a SEO guy might get 25,000, 30,000 rupees maximum as a salary, whereas we are short of people who are having a sound knowledge of digital advertising, and they might earn 60, 70,000 as a, if they are good in their field, as a entry level also. So let me just tell this. So the growth in SEO is very limited. Okay, it's more of a technology function, as sir is rightly saying, but you have to understand technology plus entire how the finance or money works for a advertising job profile, which again you need to learn more and more. Every new year new platforms come up. So for example, a company decided to spend some money on Snapchat, and because of some reason the company is now no more in India. So how do you get to another channel? how much to spend on Instagram. Okay, these are all questions again you have to answer, which is giving more ROI, because at the end we are bringing a customer to a website. Whichever channel gives me the click at the cheapest price and brings the customer on my website or on my mobile app, I have to choose that channel. So these are some of the questions which you have to answer parallelly in terms of advertising as well. So mostly,
absolutely. No, just add only one sentence to that. Today, the people that are good, in the Google AdSense, or earlier called the Google AdWords,
right,
are very good in PPC. They can also become a freelancer. And I know the people that are earning, not less than 3 to 4 lakhs or 5 lakhs a month.
Exactly.
Because you do not even join a job. When once you know the knack of it and how to do that, you can earn a lot of money, going up to a few lakhs per month.
Right.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? In fact, Dr. Rishi Deveshwar has been very kind, like in fact, the number of questions have been so many, and he didn't leave any question just like that. He has gone into the depth in explaining like a great teacher. Yeah. So any other things left over? Any other questions or anything else? So if not, I think, this is a great thing, like in fact, yeah. So Dr. Barik or, one of the students or faculty members, any one of them, I think, Dr. Deveshwar, like, it warrants, profuse thanks. Millions of thanks. We know we can't give him millions of rupees right now, because it's a digital world, So, Professor Arvind Kumar, you want to say something? Our registrar is also there. Okay, I think, no, but before you go into digital, I think you should know on how to now you are there. Now you are there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. In fact, it was eye-opener for me. I never understood that when we go to Google and click anything, somebody is earning and somebody is losing.
Because always you thought that you can eat a cookie. You never thought cookie can eat you, isn't it? So always you thought, cookies are there to eat. But now, cookies can eat you alive, I think it's great. Yeah. So I think we should sort of conclude. So Dr. Barik, any of the students, like I can close this session, or Anupriya or anybody else, or otherwise we leave it. I think in the interest of time, I think we should close this session. Because Dr. Deveshwar may have other things to do. Yeah.
Yes, sir. It was really an enticing session, sir, and many of the things those we know, but we have not realized and we have not seen this demonstrate part what Dr. Rishi sir has told. Actually, though we have learned and studied, but we have not realized. Sir, we also need your blessings and guidance in the future for our faculty members also to make this particular courses more interesting in this our pedagogical thing, sir. So probably in future we, with the help of our
sir, you can please get in touch. Yeah. So I'm a part of this family itself. We don't consider it outside. You are just another faculty which is there. So you can definitely reach out. Sir has my credentials, so my email address and phone number. I'll just, if you want, I'll just share it with all of you here also, and you can reach it out. So this is my email address, rishidevesar@ibsindia.org, and this is my phone number where WhatsApp is also there. Okay, so I have left it. Anyone, any student or anyone, one of you wants to communicate for any reason, you can please come ahead, sir.
No, in fact, Dr. Deveshwar, he's an alumnus of IBS Hyderabad as far as the MBA is concerned. He is also an alumnus of IBS Hyderabad, for the PhD.
Right,
so
sir.
That way, his attachment to the ICFI family is, lot more longer and lot more stronger than just as a faculty. Am I right in saying that on your behalf?
Yes, sir, definitely. That's what I'm saying. So I was on a student side, never thought I'll become a faculty as a student. But eventually, because of my parents' motivation, I moved on this side, and I'm equally enjoying it. So definitely. So from last 10 years, I'm having a strong association. I've paid fees to IBS as a MBA, and I have earned a lot more back as compared to that in the last 8-9 years.
Yeah, exactly.
As a
I think,
PhD also I
IBS
was getting
yeah.
stipend,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so
No, IBS, I
definitely.
think, like, in fact, in return, I think, perhaps, I think, IBS has given him a lot more. And
Definitely,
he's
definitely, no
built,
doubt, sir,
a
no doubt.
career with a passion for him, more than anything else.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
So my request to all of you is if you can switch on your video,
Sir.
maybe all of us will get to see you, and also maybe we can take a screenshot. So the students, Dr. Abhay Kumar, he's our techie coming from that SEO. Yeah. So please motivate all of our students also. If you can switch on the video, I think that will be great. Because a lot of times the reward is, that itself, this thing, whatever. Sort of Medha Verma and Anket Mandal, Akansha Kumari, some of you have asked questions. Rohit Triwari, yeah, please, please switch on. Yeah, you don't lose anything. We'll not
Switch on
need
the
anything
video.
from you at all. I think,
Shobit,
yeah, I think, it will be good. It's a good etiquette on your part, at least when you're asked to switch on, you should switch on. I think, that will go a long way. And after this, we leave it to our tech team, they can take, a screenshot.
Dipanshu,
Sir, we have taken.
So we leave it to them. We don't want to intrude into somebody's privacy. If somebody doesn't want to show the face, we leave it to them.
Yes, sir, they
It's
have.
okay.
they have both of them.
So thanks a million, or a billion, Dr. Rishi Deveshwar.
Thanks a lot, sir. Same here.
Let's catch up. I think possibly, I think we'll be meeting again in person in
Sure,
the
sir,
next
sure.
few days, on the same, topic what we were met a few
Sure,
days
sir.
back.
Sure,
right.
sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
all the very best.
Yeah, we
Thank you,
request all of you to share your feedback.
Yes,
That's
sir.
the last thing, I think that is important for us. Not only for the faculty, for the university, it is important.
So, sir,
So
I'll
thank you.
leave. You
Yeah,
can.
please, thank you very much.
Thank you,
And
sir.
thanks a lot. We'll just
Thanks a
sort of
lot.
we'll start with you. All right.
Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Bye.
Everyone,
very
I
much,
wish you all
sir.
the very best. Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you, sir.